Hi friends, welcome back to another planner flip through video. This time it is of May 2020, and a lot of you already know that I've been using my Archer and Olive collaboration planner for mostly memory planning. I'm not sure how you all are doing with your planning these days because of everything that's going on, but I highly encourage you to record your memories, even if you feel like they are repetitive or you're doing a lot of the same things or you're not planning things in advance. I really want to tell you that looking back on all of these pages brings such joy, and I'll have the previous videos of the other months of the flip throughs in the description box below, so you can always check those out. And as always, I love hearing your comments or questions, so leave those below as well. Here is the page for May 2020. This is the opening, and I have just a mix of stuff. So what I'm going to do is highlight some of the things that I wrote down, and I think it's going to show you that you can put anything that resonates with you down. You don't even have to necessarily share your personal feelings. You can find quotes that resonate with you. You can get mementos of things that people make or that you make or that appeal to you, maybe in the mail or in magazines. This is clipped from a magazine. This is part of a receipt of a book that was sent to me. Here's another thing from a magazine. Less house, more home is a stamp. So you can just see what you find. I mean, you know, obviously we can use stickers and all kinds of happy things if we want to bring more joy into our lives and infuse creativity into our everyday. It says, I release any fear that tells me I should have already arrived somewhere other than this present moment. And that's a quote by Emma Zeck. Love and attention flow to what we focus on. Sometimes the only closure you need is understanding that you deserve better. And that is from a magazine called Mantra. Reflect upon your blessings, of which every man has plenty, not on your past misfortunes, of which all men have some. Charles Dickens. The monthly outlook has become a catch-all for quotes and just random bits and pieces. You see this oil change sticker because that's what I wanted for Mother's Day. It was to have JC take my car to get an oil change as well as a car wash and fill it up with gas. Yep, I'm pretty simple when it comes to things like that. I feel as though right now we have a lot of stuff, plenty of stuff, and I really want to make sure that we are infusing this idea of happiness and harmony into our lives. And JC's a really thoughtful gift giver, but I also don't need anything stuff-wise. And I don't know if some of you have seen, but in the Hawaii video, I was hinting at something big that was happening back home. Back in November, when we were there, things were going on, and that was when we were in the middle of getting inspections done for our new home, which we purchased at the end of last year. And now we are starting renovations on it. We've been doing a bunch of research and trying to figure out how we would approach this beautiful mid-century renovation. And so anyway, I talked about it a little bit on Instagram, but I'm really excited to make some videos for you all showing the house. So this monthly spread says, you're not doing all of this just to heal. You're doing it to thrive thereafter. You didn't come into this life to go through a series of tough challenges and lessons only to be stagnant. The hard part is over. The steadier you become, the wiser, the more aligned, the more this life sets sail on you. You'll be overwhelmed with so much of what you didn't even know you wanted. This is very much part of your path. Your healing will become your thriving. Source messages. And that's something I found on Instagram. I love that for setting the tone for last month, because it was a very challenging month. For those of you in the US, besides dealing with a pandemic, a global pandemic, coronavirus, COVID-19, we had to push ourselves to really align with higher love, as Danielle Laporte has said. And I felt that I needed to nourish myself and my family and trust that everything is working in our divine and highest favor. You see a little Wingstop sticker here? Yep, we had chicken wings. I don't know if that's necessarily nourishing, but that was a craving that my mom has had for a while, and we were finally able to help her satiate it, because I think that was the first time we had it since the Super Bowl back in February. This is from a magazine, What's Made with Love is Good for You and Your Soul. Also clipped from a magazine, Calm the Chaos of Your Busy Life. Stickers and washi tape, a heart that Jack had drawn for me for Mother's Day, I think, or maybe before it, I'm not really sure. Peace, well-being, connection to all, a bright start. This is from a magazine as well. Stickers, I'm drawn to things that I find throughout, and sometimes it's unexpected, right? This pink or peachy patch right here is actually from a magazine that was, I think, a paint color or nail polish color, and I thought that it was a good base to put down and then put stickers on top of it. Messages like keep your chin up, squeeze the day. This was something cute that Jack had written me for Mother's Day. I really wanted to be intent on making new memories, but also keeping a sunshine state of mind for the week. And this is pretty sparse for my typical documenting, but I love the way this all came together and also the way it flows. So we did a portal call with Cece. My mom made Din Tai Fung wontons, which were amazing. Or she used the recipe from something we found online. And, you know, we ran errands with masks on, and I think that was the first time that my mom had gone out, like left the house in a car since March 13th, I believe. Yeah, so it had been a while. Beaches were reopened for exercise on May 13th. I wrote down, I affirm that I am happiest when I am calm and centered. Sacred reprioritization, move in the direction of freedom. Stillness isn't the absence of movement, it's a focus on the present, and that's from Danielle Laporte. This is from a newspaper from the New York Times, which really I don't tend to clip newspapers because they do yellow, but I just love this saying so much. In this pause, maybe we're allowing ourselves, much like our planet, to revert to our natural state. And I write down things that we do, things that we eat. I record just random bits and pieces. I love the idea of focusing on prosperity and clarity. Anchor your joy was something that I had journaled, and I realized that the morning pages that I was doing, and also even documenting things like this, was really a sacred practice that I have to honor. And it helps me to release the weight of my worries. So it says, for uncertain times, finding calm and serenity. I did a meditation with Russell Brand. It was on Insight Timer, and it was actually a lot more helpful than I thought it would be. Everything you can imagine is real. Rest and relax. We went to a friend's pool while they were gone. And, you know, little things. America's Funniest Videos and Nailed It and Bob's Burgers. Those are the things we watched. We were wrapping up The Last Dance. Another thing that we were watching was Nailed It and Upload, How to Cake It. And those are the shows that we pretty much watched as a family, except for Upload. Only JC and I watched that. But JC, Jack, and I all enjoyed The Last Dance. Here is week 21 of the year. And I loved how messy this was and how it came together. I felt like it was pretty magical, but also day 68 of quarantine, safer at home, there were a lot of struggles that were going on throughout this week, but I wanted to highlight and add pops of color to make sure that we realize that we have to live in the present no matter how difficult it is, and we can make wishes, we can be in the moment and realize that the best is yet to come. And I love that Jack said this to me, "I love you, my mother." And so I asked him to write that down. This was day 70. And here's a cool quote that I wrote down from Gabby Bernstein. "Solutions don't come from pushing, they come from pausing." And I know that it's really hard for a lot of people to do that. It's been really difficult for me. It's been challenging. But as I realize my happiness comes through pausing and not pushing, and a lot of the gifts that I've been given throughout my life and the way things work out, it's from really taking a moment to pause and have gratitude and understand and surrender to the expectations of a lot of the things that I have had in my head for different reasons and also different purposes. But it's one of those things where I think we need to trust a lot more, and everybody's going through hard things and struggles, but if we can focus on the positive and really try to change our perspective and not try to be a control freak like I have been in the past, I think that we can have a huge shift in our perception of what we are experiencing. So follow your soul, it knows the way. We started watching The Big Flower Fight on Netflix, which was really entertaining, and we ended up finishing it, but I think that was just the first episode that we watched. We finished Upload that night. For the first time, we had our cousins come into the backyard and they brought bagels and we just sat on the porch. Obviously, we were socially distanced. It was just at a time where, you're realizing a lot of things. There were already 100,000 deaths in the US, and that was a really powerful New York Times front page. So I just wanted to write that down and notate it. This week was really challenging. I think that a lot of you all in the US and throughout the world probably recognize that there were things that had happened, particularly with George Floyd. I think that happened on this Monday, and I didn't write it down, but I really remember the feeling of this week and how, especially at the end of the week when the peaceful protests were happening and then there was great unrest. I think that throughout this whole thing, what helps me stay grounded is that we really have to believe that as long as we are aligning with a peace, love, harmony, wellness that is inside, we can figure out the path forward. And the Black Lives Matter movement came really to light this week. And there was just some things that I wanted to notate here, owning and honoring the present moment for what it is. I wrote down things like staying home is a privilege, collective healing begins with individual attention. Daniel Laporte said that. So I really loved certain quotes. This one, when I is replaced with we, even illness becomes wellness. That was a quote from Malcolm X. And yeah, I tried to highlight a lot of the positive things and also record just the little things that would trigger my memory. The NASA and SpaceX shuttle launch was pretty remarkable to witness. And then, we watched Magic for Humans, which I highly recommend. We went through that pretty quickly because the episodes are pretty short and they're very entertaining. Let's see. Nap and news, and it was a pretty intense weekend for the protests. And then we go into June, so I will be happy to flip through this too, but I wanted to share with you good energy, and I hope you feel inspired by some of the takeaways or things that I read here, and I hope that it inspires you to get creative in your everyday, no matter what is going on in your heart or in the world. If you can figure out ways to anchor your joy, this is one of the most meaningful ways that I can get creative and really nourish my soul. And I hope you feel inspired by this. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And leave any questions or comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.